What you are seeing on the screen right now are some of my animations. But wanna hear something crazy about them? These 3D looking animations are made fully inside of Premiere Pro with no external software. The lighting, the zooms, the movements, everything is made inside of Premiere Pro, not even After Effects. So a lot of editors send me their edits and ask me to roast them. And they picked the best 3 to roast brutally in this video. These 3 edits are picked on what will be the most helpful for the video. So going through them, I will be roasting them but also giving actionable advice for you. And all of this advice that I'm gonna give them is coming from the perspective that they want to make more money. So from my experience hitting 10k per month 7 months after starting to edit, I give them the most actionable advice to improve their animations and make more money. So without further ado, let's go with the first out of the 3 edits we will be roasting. This is the first edit we're gonna review, so let's watch it. Just to clarify, I have already roasted it live with him and I explained to him everything that he done wrong and everything that he could improve. If you want your edits to be roasted as well, it's the second link in the description. It's a Discord server where I host weekly editing reviews. People should submit their edits, I bring them up, I talk to them and I roast their edits and tell them how to make more money. And if they had any question, I answer it to them. So I've already roasted and seen all of the edits. I'm gonna now explain in depth how to improve them. So let's start with the first
I only have
animation.
2 goals: get Mapik to respect me again and repay him back everything he's given to me. He then proceeds.
The animation is amazing, but there's a couple of mistakes and stuff that could have been improved. Starting out, the theme of this video was quite serious. As far as I remember, it was about a battle royale, and it was about fighting to the death. Even though it's a game, inside of the game, it was a serious theme. I know that this is a re-edit, so he didn't add the music himself, but the first thing that I would change is I would change the music, since it doesn't fit the theme of this exact scene. And instead of his animation, he also did something that didn't fit the theme, which is the background. The background is a wooden blank texture, and there's no depth to it. There's nothing, it's just a normal PNG. He added some lens distortion, which you can see at the corners. If we take, for example, this line, you can see that it curves at the top, looking like this, which is lens distortion. I have noticed that. But besides the lens distortion, there wasn't much added to the background. So that's the first thing that we're gonna fix. First thing is we're gonna replace this blank oak background with a stone one. And the reason we're gonna do that is the theme of the video is quite intense. So we're gonna match that with the background. It's gonna be stone. And we're not gonna leave it at that. We're gonna add a sword at the corner. It doesn't have to be huge, it's just in the corner, it's just a detail to add to the scene. And in this side, we're gonna add, for example, a bow. Excuse my drawing, I don't have the actual project files. But we're gonna add a bow. And on this side, we're gonna add a shield. Now, all of these are gonna be Minecraft textures. So for example, for this sword, we're gonna add an iron sword to the image like this one. As you see this one, we're gonna just add it to the corner. The reason that we add these things is that we want to add depth to the scene. We want it to look 3D. So we want to add other stuff on top of the table. Like it's a messy table and we're explaining the plan on top of it. That may seem insignificant and in the grand scheme of things, it is. But the point is adding a lot of small details like this one that make animations go from looking like this to looking like the animations I showed you at the start of the video. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make the background stone and we're gonna add these items in the corners of it. We're also gonna add some shadow to the items and we're gonna also add some lighting to it. We're gonna make them look 3D. Now if we go back to the animation, the idea is that it was a map folded and he just flattened it out on the table and started showing the animations inside of this map. So we're gonna use some logic here. If the map gets flattened, at the end, it's not going to be folded like it is right now. If you look here, it is still folded. What's going to happen is that it's going to be folded up until it reaches the end, and then it's going to flatten out on the table like this, on the other side as well. That way, it looks more 3D, that it was actually rounded and then flattened out on the table. That, again, makes it look more 3D, makes it look higher quality, so when a YouTuber comes to his profile, he is just impressed by the animation. Oh, this guy didn't make the paper get flattened out, I will not hire him. You don't think like this, but all of these small details get added up to make animations that make them go like, damn, compared to animations that are like, okay, it's just decent. So that's the next thing we're gonna add. We're gonna make the paper more realistic, more 3D, by making it get flattened out at the end. And another thing, the piece of paper doesn't have any shadow to it, so we're gonna add a shadow. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, it's just some light that comes from the side of the screen, and we're gonna add some light that comes from the other side. Again, these small details make up 3D animation. So now let's focus with the actual animations. We have covered the background and the stuff we're gonna do to it. We're gonna make the oak plank sound to match the theme. We're gonna add some items in the corners of the screen. We're gonna make the paper get flattened out. We're gonna add shadows and lighting to all of them, including the paper. Now let's look into the actual animation he made. First of all, I love that he used some of my pieces, the flicker up on this head, looks amazing. These fade ins and fade outs, these pop ins, everything looks amazing here. If you want these presets, it's the first link in the description. They're all for free. But the mistake that he done is that he added these three respect plus icons a little too fast. For most of the animation, they were hidden. We cannot read this one. We cannot read that it says respect. We can read this one, but it's still somewhat hidden. We can only read this one. And by the speed that they gone through, like this, it's pretty hard to read with everything being said, with the paper getting flattened, with a new scene, everything, it was a bit too much. And they didn't explain the concept well, so let's look at another way he could have made this animation. The voiceover is talking about gaining respect from this guy named Maybex. So there's a couple of stuff implied. First of all, that the guy talking, the YouTuber, wants to gain the respect of Maybex. So let's think of a way to show this. First of all, let's show the guy that is talking, the YouTuber. Let's put his head over here. And let's move Maybex's head, which is this one. Let's put it to the side to make it balanced with the scene. We don't want to add the YouTuber's head in this side and Maybex's head in the center, because it leaves all of this empty. We want to balance it out. So let's move Maybex's head to the left. So it's gonna look something like this. Now he gains respect. I know the drawings look silly, but I want you to imagine this with me. Now we have this head over here, and we have the player's head over here. Now he wants to gain his respect, Maybex's respect. So let's add an arrow between them, and let's make the arrow say respect. So now we show that he gained Maybex's respect, and he wants to pay him back for everything that he has done to him. The way that Draco done it is that he showed Maybex's head and showed a lot of items under it. But that doesn't explain the concept that he wants to pay him back. He wants to give these items to Maybex. So the way you're gonna do that is we're gonna add the items individually, and we're gonna make them go from after he gains the respect. So something like this, you can imagine it, just the items going from the YouTuber to Maybex back. Now this concept explained a couple of things. If we have done it this way, we would have explained that the YouTuber wants to gain Maybex's respect. First of all, in the original, we couldn't even read respect. Well, now we're able to see it clearly, and we're able to see it get transferred from Maybex to the guy. And we also show him paying him back by giving him the item. He didn't say that he wants to pay him back by giving him these items, but it was implied with the context. And the way we showed that is we showed the items quite literally going from the YouTuber to Maybex. After which we could have, for example, if we wanted to get creative, we could have added a smiley face onto Maybex to show that he's happy and he has been paid back. I hope that it don't seem schizophrenic. I'm just testing out this new format of video. If you like it, let me know in the comments. If you don't, also let me know. But that's what we would have done different in this first animation. We would have added more depth by changing the background, by adding lighting and shadows, by adding items and the corners of the screen. We would have made the paper also get flattened down at the end to make it look 3D. And after that, we would have made a different animation fully. And after that, we wouldn't have shown only Maybex's head, we would have shown the YouTuber's head. We wouldn't show 3 respect texts coming out super quickly like this because they're unreadable. And we would have shown the items actually getting transferred from the YouTuber to Maybex. Now for the rest of the preview, the same things. You should have added items, you should have changed his background completely. I love this animation that he has done. He has used the bouncy slide up preset from my preset pack, and as you see, it looks amazing. And I can tell that these are made in Premiere, so the 3D is made inside of Premiere, which is again a part of my preset pack. I have some presets that make 3D inside of Premiere. He has done an amazing job on that. He also added some space between them. They didn't come all at once, which looks amazing. And yeah, overall great animation. These are the things that I would have changed on it, but into the next animation. The next animation has been submitted by Veed, so let's look at it.
Bro, I'm so hungry and I have a tournament in 2 hours. What should I do? I don't think I'm gonna have time to cook either. Am I cooked, chat? Wait, I forgot HelloFresh has free breakfast for every single subscriber for life.
I'm gonna stop you from watching that. It's plain rot content. As far as I remember, this Veed guy is quite autistic. I believe that he has a couple of mental disabilities. But let's stop roasting Veed and let's roast the actual edit. First of all, the first thing that I would have changed is when he wakes up, there has to be a zoom. Because if you look at the composition over here is amazing. There's some Zs, and you can see him in the corner of the screen. It's balanced. But the second that he wakes up, he's in the corner of the screen and there's nothing happening. He's just looking at nothing. So to also add some emotion and drama into this animation, we should have zoomed in about this much. Like a really harsh, fast zoom in the moment he wakes up. And also if you notice, the music continued playing. The sleeping music continued playing right after he woke up, which shouldn't have happened. The music should have ended the second he woke up.
Bro, I'm so hungry. hungry.
You can see it continued for a few seconds. For the next animation, it didn't actually show hunger. It was his health going down. Since this is a brain rot video meant for kids, I would have added this Minecraft hunger. It's a pretty iconic way of showing hunger. So most YouTubers, even in real life content, use this as a symbol for hunger. So I would have done that small change. Now there's a big missed opportunity in this animation. This entire intro didn't have many mood switches. It was pretty fluid and confusing. And the reason for that mainly was the music. I know this about animations, but this is also very important. So let's imagine this. This is sleeping emojis, and then the second he wakes up, it clicks to nothing. There's no music playing. And it continues like that until he says 2 hours. Right now, the 2 hours when he says it is pretty underwhelming. Let me show you one last time.
I have a torment in 2 hours. What should I do?
Super underwhelming. We don't feel like it's important. It was literally just a sound effect of a popping. That's the only thing that he done. The way that I would have done it is I would have had no music right after he wakes up and until 2 hours has been mentioned, and when that happens I will black out the entire background, so I will make it just darker and blurred, and I would add a huge 2-hour text with super intense music in the middle of the screen like this. So the entire background would be darkened and blurred, and the main focus would be the 2 hours text. And as this happened, he should have added a huge music switch, going from no music to intense music. Right now, if you watch the intro, it's quite confusing. We're not sure what's happening, but this way we have made a clear storyline. He was sleeping and then he wakes up and he's hungry. But then it's not that big of a problem until he discovers that the tournament is in 2 hours exactly, and then the mode switches to intense music. Even though this is kids content, though it's as important to put this amount of thought into it. Because this is an intro, just making the emotion switches more clear might have 10 extra amount of views this video will get for the YouTuber. And even in kids niches, you can be paid thousands of dollars per video. But you will have to work with the biggest creators in that niche. And the way that you do that is that you make your videos better. And that's how you could have made that intro alone 10 times as good. The next edit is from a friend of mine, Georgie, which has started editing recently. Let's first of all watch it. The edit is quite smooth, but there's a problem that is actually outside of the edit itself. Now we have fixed that problem with Georgie and he started getting clients and started charging hundreds of dollars per video. But the way that he started is he did practice edits like these. This animation is not an actual edit, it's not a YouTube video. It's just a practice edit. He was practicing, so he added this random animation. And even though the animation was amazing and the peak expounds was amazing, it wouldn't have gotten him as many clients as it would have if it was an actual re-edit. After explaining that to him, he did the same amount of editing, but for actual YouTube videos. And when he started doing that and started making actual re-edits for actual videos, he started getting actual work and making the same style of videos, but for actual YouTube videos, and now he's building social proof as well. A YouTuber does not want to see a practice edit, he doesn't want to see some random animation. He wants to see how your animations look like in an actual video. And that happens quite often in the calls that I host. People come to me and ask me for advice for practice edits, which I simply cannot do. I cannot give you advice for a practice edit. I can give you advice on how to improve your animations, make them look cooler, and how to improve retention of the actual video, and how to get more clients. But if you don't want to practice edit, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just making random animations in your software that don't help you much getting actual clients and getting paid. So the best way if you don't have actual clients yet is doing re-edits. Finding a YouTuber that has pretty low editing, like dash editing, and then re-editing his content and posting it. Now you have voiceover, now you can actually start improving your edits. And if you want me to review your re-edit, then every Saturday I host these editing reviews. I will be able to also talk to you one-to-one, so I wouldn't look schizophrenic. Let me know in the comments if I look schizophrenic. Let me know if you like this video. I was just testing out doing what I do in the calls and an actual video and seeing how people like it. But other than that, join the Discord server and go watch this video. And until next time, good luck.